Back to you now on your Monday morning. The White House continuing to fight for Ukraine aid after that stopgap measure that averted a government shutdown over the weekend did not include additional funding. President Biden signing a short-term funding bill to keep the government running for at least the next 45 days. But the bipartisan bill removed $6 billion in aid to Ukraine. The president now urging Congress to approve additional money for the war-torn country ASAP. NewsNation senior national security contributor, retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton joins us now. Lieutenant General, I'm just curious what you thought of the news this weekend. You know, this stopgap bill included natural disaster aid, but no additional funding for Ukraine or even border security. From a national security standpoint, should we be applauding this or concerned by it?
Well, good morning, Markie. I think first off, just getting a stopgap measure through the Congress was significant, especially the leadership led by Speaker McCarthy. But nonetheless, the fact that absent of that legislation, even though, as you mentioned, it gets us through funding for the next 45 days, but without a commitment in terms of funding for Ukraine, and my sources tell me that has actually sent shockwaves over the Atlantic. An unprecedented meeting with European foreign ministers was held in Kyiv earlier today with President Zelensky. And so the concern is, from a diplomatic standpoint, that the fact that the U.S. has not, moved forward with legislatively with continued funding. Although, again, we've provided almost $75 billion to date. Europe has provided about $80 billion. But this is a war of attrition. And it's going to come down to continuing to resupply and provide capabilities to Ukraine in order to stem the tide of Russia and get them off their territory. So this is significant and very concerning, frankly.
Yeah, and when you talk about those shock waves being sent and that no legislation has been passed in terms of aid to Ukraine, I know House Democratic leadership has said in a statement they do expect Speaker Kevin McCarthy to bring a separate Ukraine bill to vote when the House returns. I guess my question to you on that is, what kind of message does that send to our adversaries, including Russia, that we have all this domestic infighting, we can't make up our minds about budgetary items, where to spend what? Does it make us look weak, or is it something that other countries can relate to?
I think not necessarily weak. I think it shows that the United States has a democracy. We have a legislative process, and through the American people, through those who we elect to for Congress in order to continue funding, such as the government and other aspects of U.S. national security, I see that as a plus. They see this dance of the legislation and what's going on domestically inside the United States. Russia, in their information warfare will try to make something of that. But eventually, I believe that the United States is going to stand behind its commitment to Ukraine. But it does send signals to the rest of the world that it does perhaps, provide question in terms of the U.S. commitment. And so I believe it's going to be important that this week or in the next several days that legislation is provided and approved upon. President Biden will be ready to sign that legislation.
For sure.
In order to continue this war of attrition. We're now into our 19th month. And so it's important that the United States stands behind Ukraine. This is about not only just Ukraine and Europe, Markie, but this is about global security writ large. This is about the United States leadership in a very interconnected world, from a national security standpoint. So yes, we need to make sure that this legislation is continued to provide this funding, which is so important. Last point on that is not only from the United States standpoint, but other European capitals are looking to the United States. If the United States puts forth its funding, then they will also, and they'll continue to provide this financial support and other support to Ukraine.
Yeah, and my last quick question for you, Lieutenant General. I know nobody feels those shock waves, that loss, or this 19-month, more so than Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky. What kind of immediate impacts will removing that U.S. aid to Ukraine have? I mean, are they already feeling that? What does that look like for them overseas?
Yeah, immediately on the battlefield, it'll be not much of an effect, over the next several days or weeks and so forth. But what will be impactful if legislation is not provided for funding for Ukraine, at least from the United States standpoint, is the munitions. It's the rockets. It's the other bullets and so forth and capabilities. And that will have a significant impact because this is a very high-end technical war. And the most difficult thing to do for, Ukraine is to remove an adversary from its own territory. Defense has, again, the high ground here, and it's very difficult, but they can't do it without these munitions and other capabilities that are on the way to Ukraine, such as the Army Tactical Missile System, F-16s by the end of the year, and so forth. So this is not only about U.S. perception and leadership and commitment, it's also about impact literally on the battlefield.
Yeah, well, I know that they're hoping and praying for us to change course here pretty soon when it comes to funding and aid for them. Retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton, thanks as always for stopping by the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.